All right. How's everybody doing? Surviving? Is everyone surviving? Let's see if we can get. Let me grab my drink. See if we can get Christian on here. Whoops. Okay. It's been a while since I've done one of these, I think. What was the last one? Who was the last one? Steven? I don't remember. Anyway, I'm back in Fresno for a couple days, taking a bit of a rest. I've been going for a month and a half, and now I have a couple days off, and I don't know what to do with myself. That's what happens when you get used to grinding. When I'm grinding, then my noggin doesn't have a chance to do what it does best, which is cause trouble, problems, worries, stress. That's what our mind likes to do. What's up, buddy?
What's up, man?
How you doing?
How's it going?
Did you get a haircut?
Doing alright. Pissing. No, I shaved though.
Oh yeah. Something looked different.
Yeah. I'm pissing some people off on their Facebook posts.
You're pissing people off?
I was kind of an asshole, but then they like tried to argue with me about shit I didn't say. It was like some flat Earth dude, and he was talking about this and that, which I think is interesting. The arguments, anyway.
What was he arguing?
Yeah, let me see. Let me see.
And who was it? Was it like one of the? Was it a random or was it some like a public profile person?
Just yeah, no, like just a person on Facebook that I friended, and he said apparently we live on a globe, so anyone born in Antarctica or North Pole or south of the equator wouldn't have a star sign or a horoscope. When would they see the bottom, top, or side of the cosmos? Is there an upside down zodiac? LOL, you get me right. If we're on a globe, why have I seen seven stars all my life from different countries? I'm gonna shut up because I bet I sound dumb to people who don't get it. And I mean, like this dude isn't the most like etiquette, so I probably didn't even have to respond, but I did. And what I said was, so why is there a Southern Lights and different constellations in the South? And you know, he said only aurora I've heard of is at the North Pole. Constellations from different angles still the same. So I said, how can you even consider about the shape of the Earth when you don't know about the Southern Lights? Which is kind of like a fuck shit thing to say, but I mean, at the same time, it's a fair question. Because, I mean, like, you want to say about the shape of the Earth, but you're not going to investigate, like, the southern magnetic anomalies at the pole.
Yeah, right.
So it's kind of like, I don't know, let me turn this thing on. It's kind of like, key. I mean, fuck. Like, if anything, you should start there. Like, if you're gonna question the existence of the South Pole in general, shouldn't you be like, so why is there a Southern Lights? I mean, like,
Wait, so people are saying, I've heard the argument before. People are saying that since they're saying the constellations are fixed, right? Like they're not moving whatsoever. If you're doing a time
yeah,
lapse.
yeah, it's something. I guess I'm not sure. I've seen a lot of different things. Like stars being like cymatic patterns on water, and then at the new SpaceX launch, dude, it looks like it's going through fucking water to me. Like, so, I mean, and I had like a really intense trip when I was younger where I just started like yelling, water, like water. Like, and as I've studied more stuff, like it all goes back to water, like different densities of hydrogen.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the I've seen time lapse videos where people centered on, I think it was a North Star, and then they let it sit there for a couple days. And then you have the spiral, right? Like they're turning around. That's what would happen if the Earth was spinning, wouldn't it? Does that make sense?
What the So like the North Star and then the Big Dipper is moving all around it, right?
Yeah, like if you're looking at the North Star and you're doing a time lapse for like 24 hours, then it would be rotating with that as the fulcrum.
Yeah, yeah, which is really interesting because that's where the swastika comes from, is the positioning of the Big Dipper around the North Star.
Yeah, yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
So it's like the powerful vortex. I don't know whether it's like a globe or not. Like, there's like great questions about that, especially with like the observer effect, and
Right.
then like the idea of like you know uh, the North Pole and the South Pole being like the axis mundi or the axis mundi, which is the trunk of the world tree, and then there being like parallel universes, so you can like go to the pole and like go up here or down here, or like on different branches, and like the pole, if you do like the hollow Earth, it looks like the eyeball from the top.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was looking at this, like all the people doing these hand signs, like it's everybody. It's for
666.
yeah, yeah. I mean, like rock on, but like, I mean, they're all doing it for a reason. I mean, like
Right.
they're all part of the cannibal.
You know that guy Seven Bomar? Have you heard of him?
No.
He's got a pretty big channel. He's got like 50, 60,000 subs, and I followed him for a little while, but when he was having his sort of awakening or whatever he called it, he he basically said that the Earth sphere is a bubble. Like we're a little bubble inside of liquid, and once
Yeah,
you get outside of the firmament or whatever it is that's encasing the globe, then you're just in more water, basically.
yeah.
That's
That's
what.
kind of what I think, and I also think like, uh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Lots of stuff like that. Really interesting stuff.
Yeah, and I mean, he's saying this from his.
Oh, I read a really interesting article about a dude that like went up in a fucking balloon and said that he like passed through a layer of water
Really?
a long time ago, like 100 years ago or some shit bullshit, like 40, 60 years ago. But then they put that in a movie too. It was like symbology of a dude like traveling up in like a balloon and going through a layer of water.
Well, there's so many pop culture references of like smacking the dome or cracking the dome. Like
Yeah, and then like the Truman Show.
yeah, right. The Simpsons had an episode. All the main shows have had some sort of
But they
pointing
want
to
to
that.
make you think it's like a hard dome. But it would make more sense to me if it was water.
Well, if you think about it, if you just make the comparison to bubbles in our water, it's not a hard. It's
Yeah.
an air pocket is what it is. That's all it is, and it's not like you would. I guess you could poke it and bust the bubble, but it wouldn't be anything hard. I have no idea. I think it's interesting that people are talking about it, but people too often in my mind they get on this trying to protect their whatever idea is, even though they've done no research, they've done no exploring, they've done not a
I
whole lot
mean,
of
that
anything.
was my point with the dude. I was like he was going off on me and like posting all these memes and shit. I'm like, dude, like my one question dismantled your whole fucking thing because you didn't research the South Pole. Like, I mean, like, well,
Yeah.
I was being an asshole, but it was just to prove to him that I mean, maybe it's not my place. But it was also to kind of remind myself too, like that you know you don't just jump in, like you kind of start somewhere. like you
Yeah,
know,
right.
posting interesting stuff like how light gets refracted, like between a concave and a convex lens, and like things like that. And I thought all of it was cool, and I told them that. But yeah, my one question kind of really made the whole thing look like, oh well, that's like a huge anomaly. Like, so maybe it's not flat, and that's like my whole thing with the flat Earth people. It's like, why does it have to be like flat, or like, why does it have to be? Oh, what I think is really interesting is the local sun videos, because it wouldn't surprise, like, because that's what I've been questioning recently, because it feels like the sun is so warm, even though it's supposed to be winter. So
Hmm.
I was like, as telling people, like, and just making random comments in my conversations, like, so like during the winter, I thought like the sun was supposed to get farther away, but it still feels pretty fucking hot. Like the sun is beaming my shit right now, and it would be this intense if it's moving away, because we're supposed to be like tilting or some shit away from it, and it makes the seasons.
Right, that's what the axis does because it's not in like a perfect alignment with the sun. It would be if it's off a little bit, then it would be going around like that,
Yeah,
and that's what's supposed to create the winter and the summer.
but and then like like the spin is supposed to create the wind like through the mountains and stuff, but then there's also the solar wind. And what I noticed during this eclipse, there was like the big eclipse that happened 2017, I suppose, right?
Hmm.
There was no fucking wind, and I was like, holy shit, the sun creates the wind. And that's makes a lot of sense because there's like solar particles and like waves, like electromagnetic waves coming off the sun, and which makes it even more interesting to me that it could be a local entity that's just like floating
As in,
relatively
as in
close.
not millions of miles away. You're saying?
Yeah, yeah, because I've seen a whole bunch of videos like where they send like their little satellite up, and the sun looks like it's right fucking there, like just floating.
somebody, somebody made a rant video recently, and he was talking about how the only way we have rainbows is if there is a mirror, some sort of mirror, and he was trying to use that as an argument for the firmament, as if the whatever the surface is up top, even if it were the surface of a bubble, it would still be acting as some sort of a mirror to create rainbows. I don't know how much sense that makes though, because water droplets themselves refract light, and I'm sure they could.
Yeah, no, and that's the most interesting thing about water is it refracts. The water molecule is refracting light. Like it literally refracts light and creates the color spectrum.
Right. Yeah, so that's interesting. So like if
And
the
for
water were to
80%
disappear, then
water,
we would
yeah,
go black and white, right?
if water wasn't here,
Yeah.
well, I mean, we're 80% water. The planet's like 80% water, so they say it's probably more, really.
Yeah, I
But I
mean,
mean,
we would all
it's
just
like,
immediately die, but if you could somehow
well,
look
it's
at
like
it.
I think that water is essentially the fundamental building block. Like it's the original black goo, essentially, but it's like the blue or the translucent goo because so if everything is a sound, right? You have the primordial Om. In the beginning, there was the Word, and the Word was with God. Every atom is vibrating, so that means it's oscillating, and it's literally a sound. It's a vibration. And vibrations make water go into patterns,
Right.
cinematic.
Right.
That means that the vibration is affecting the water to create the structure, and that's what like Max Planck and like I thought this was like my original idea, but apparently like Max Planck and like huge fucking scientists, like this is like a really kind of elite viewpoint that all matter is being held together through a sound or through sound.
Mm.
Like I was like, holy shit, I thought this was my theory, but it's totally not. It's like something. It's a viewpoint that has been held for a while, actually.
Yeah, I mean, well, with cymatics, you can see how it's not a difficult thing for the vibrations to arrange the sand or whatever is in the plate. It arranges it instantly, like you hit a tone
Yeah.
and then you have an instant pattern.
Wow, that's really interesting, especially with the speaking your reality.
Right.
It's and we go. So I've been reading articles about like chanting and what the chanting has been proven to do scientifically. It
Hmm.
literally rebuilds nerves and like organs.
Yeah.
Like sound, it stimulates the nerves again, like into reforming, and like builds your brain up and everything. Like the vibrations literally heal it.
Have you ever practiced chanting at all?
I mean, like I've always been musical, and yeah, I do like so. Yeah, man. Actually, not like chanting, but definitely like getting my voice like way down into my body and just vibrating as much of my body as possible, or
Yeah.
like different parts of it, like my teeth or my neck or like whatever, and just try to get the vibration throughout my whole body. And yeah, so I've played with it quite a bit, and like how you feel is like really amazing. And like I mean, you hit a tone, and it's the tone. It's really interesting because like I can hear my voice, but then I can hear like the frequency that my body generates, like or like there's a tone behind my voice that like the voice box or like my literal physical body is generating from like the muscle.
Yeah,
Like it
yeah.
sounds like you're an alien. Like it's like it's so crazy because that's what we used to do all the time. And like the fall of man was essentially like forgetting that our voices, like our vibrations, could literally affect matter, like through everything that we speak.
Right.
So, and using our voice to levitate stuff or whatever. I mean, even in martial arts, like you're supposed to like yell when you strike, like yeah, yeah, and it like literally breaks their aura.
Mm.
Like they're like, oh, but it's not only that. Like the sound wave, it's not like just a psychological thing. It's literally the wave of sound is hitting the person's body and destabilizing their electrical field. Like that shit goes so deep. Like that's why that they're doing it is to break the aura.
Yeah, I feel like most people here, and I know it sounds like Debbie Downing every time we talk about this stuff, but I feel like this dumbing down thing is like a fact. It's not even dumbing down in terms of knowledge. It's dumbing down in terms of all the bodily aspects that would normally keep us connected and aware to everything. Those are getting shut down. That's what I feel
Yeah,
like.
this is what this guy said to me. Like, your question is gay. You're confusing my ego of your hand. How can you consider fucking when the closest thing you've seen to a vagina is your cold sore infected lip? So that that's where that conversation went. So obviously, we're gonna go great places
Yeah,
and
yeah.
discover great things together.
Right. I just know that like when I first started doing Reiki with Eden, I started feeling stuff moving in my body that I had never felt, or at least I don't remember having felt. I'm sure I remember it in some other period, but I literally felt energy moving, like tracers running up and down my skin. It felt like like a finger was touching my body.
Meridian,
Yeah.
meridian, yeah. Meridians are activating. Yeah, man, Reiki is crazy. I
Never.
healed a cat for the first time this year,
You did
and all that
what?
stuff is. I healed a cat.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I had a tumor on its leg, and like I was just reading a book, like healings are instantaneous, like blah blah blah, like all it takes is one time. So I
Right.
like walked up to the cat. I'm like, I love this cat. So I was like petting it and hugging it and say like, I love you. And I was holding my right hand over its tumor. And I was like, don't worry, you're going to heal. Then 3 days later, I saw the cat and the tumor was gone. And I went around and asked like all the neighbors, like, did somebody like pop the tumor? Like, did it pop or like what happened with it? And they're like, nope, nobody touched it.
Yeah. I mean, I completely believe that we have the capacity to heal ourselves and to heal others, and it's not a science. Like, we've turned everything into this technological science, and like you need to learn all these steps to do things,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
we've
And that's something really.
downplayed like the ability to energetically, simply with intent,
And not
do
only that, we
things.
think that we need to like get on the internet to absorb knowledge. But even though like one of the most profound things in my life, I downloaded through a dream.
Mm.
So there's like literally already an internet, like an organic, biological, carbon crystalline internet,
Yeah.
probably through the water. And because water has memory, like scientifically, it's been proven to have memory. So we could literally tap with our brain and our visual cortex the molecular memory of all the water on the planet.
Maybe that's where the akashic records are actually stored, like in the water
Yeah,
molecules.
because the akasha and the aether is like the fifth element,
Yeah.
which I think is hydrogen, is monoatomic hydrogen, because that's what they say, that's what the scientists say is the most abundant element in the universe. So if everything is actually different densities of hydrogen, like basically water, then that's like the womb, the programmable matter, or like the substrate, the void.
Yeah. Well, it's like after the people were removed from their knowledge that we have everything at our fingertips, then that's when the technology is given in as a suitable replacement, and then you have to therefore buy things, you have to buy into systems and buy into money systems, and so you remove yourself from the organic, natural connection, and then there's the replacement, but it's not as good. It kind of works, but it's not as good.
Yeah, I mean it could have its strong point. Really, the technology is only needed to like bring people back, or like is to bring them up to. Well, I think that we could do anything with our mind. So I believe just like in the power of spirit entirely to do
Yeah.
like literally do anything. And so the technology, I mean, I think that the technology is going to be used in conjunction because I think that's the way that we're going to want to operate, and I think that's just what it's set to be because not everybody is like an elite like mind, and if so you don't want everybody to just die because that's fucked up. So they need they need like the stepping stone, which is the technology.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's what Og was saying.
Yeah, I mean like yeah, I mean Og is right about a lot of stuff. It's just the way that he says things, like he'll yeah, confusing guy. But I mean like I still enjoy his stuff, and I want to get my stuff like way more.
We're just Og is strange to some people and hard to understand, but if you think about the alternative to that kind of strangeness in the form that he presents it, he's something as opposed to nothing, which is where a lot of people were before him and other people started coming forward, because we were just like wandering around, floating around with nobody, politicians and all that is just nonsense game. So I appreciate him being there in his form rather than not there at all.
Yeah, well, it's nice to have somebody close by too. To me, that I know is like really fucking awake because Baltimore, Maryland, is right above me.
Are you gonna meet up with him?
Maybe at some point. I've talked with him about it before. I wouldn't mind getting out of I wouldn't mind getting out of the city for real. I mean, like the West Coast is way less populated. I've been saving up money too. I mean, like less than 1,000 saved up, but that's enough to go places and like start new. I mean, I could buy a car and like without that shit. I don't know, like there's lots of stuff, so lots of things that I want to do and implement like land is needed and stuff. And like I even want to, like change shit in the city as well. But yeah, cross that bridge when I get there.
You have to figure out the money situation before you can do that. It's an unavoidable like a negative. You just have to do it.
Yeah, really interesting with the one world currency, dude. And some of the shit like I hear out of like other songs, like so like apparently Eminem like did like a new version of like
Of the what?
of his like "Lose Yourself" song,
Oh, really?
and like in the song he's like da 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 New World Order and like shit like that, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, all right, it's just so in your face, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's just fucking crazy. Like it's crazy because people. I mean, like, bro, like people are actually stupid. Like it's fucking nuts. I mean, like it's fucked up, man. It's fucked up. Like,
It's what it is. I mean,
it is what it is. It's true.
I just know that
Like,
for
I
for
always
for
know
me
like how I
personally,
learned everything that I know because I was drinking like shit out the tap and like everything.
you can't
Like,
get you can't get hung up on the negative shit because then you literally will do nothing at all. You'll just be upset.
yeah, and that's it's such a weight to carry. I mean, like I'm not saying like it just feels like a mountain on my shoulders a lot, and that like it's actually brought kind of like a halt to my work because like I've been so emotionally disrupted that like I don't want to sit down and like compile the information. Like all the information is in my head and on my desktop, and I want to put it in a format for people and myself, but because like my life seemed seemed to feel so unbalanced between like the physical expression and then like the mental of getting all this shit, all my ducks in a row, essentially.
Mm.
That after I got all my ducks in a row, it was like, man, like I do not want to think about this shit anymore. Like, but I mean, like I got to keep doing it. So,
It's
I mean,
it's it's a daily struggle for me. It's a daily struggle for me to because my situation is all fucked up too, and
to operate in the normal world is like a normal fucking person, like have normal conversations, like be able to have like normal emotions. I just feel like fucking Iron Man or some shit, like just stoic as a bitch. Like I can't laugh or like cry at anything. You know what I mean? I mean I do, but and I do like start to crack jokes, and like that's one of the things I learned is like humor just nonstop. Like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
just, just keep on moving it
Well,
around.
it makes it difficult to operate in the real world because that like that their level is so it's so upside down that you can't even speak 3 words without like there's already the gap is there to begin with, and it's just really awkward. Like it just
Yeah,
if they haven't even begun to look at anything, look internally, look to the actual spirituality, actually ask questions about their reality. If they haven't even begun to do that, then they won't understand one word that you're saying.
yeah. And what's really crazy, man, is just the divisional mindset. Like the need to defend or like fight against opposing viewpoints, or the need for like the viewpoint to be like entirely correct, like
Right.
entirely. And instead of like taking bits and pieces of like everything and making it into a coherent picture, people cut out all information just because of like the label. So
Right.
it's like the Bible, like fuck the Bible. That's basically everybody's viewpoint. So they never read it, or they never like look at all the really crazy coincidences that like all the secret knowledge basically that's hidden in there. They don't get that perspective, or they got like science and they like quantum physics, but they don't ever study the Eastern mystery religions. So none of it makes a full picture.
Right.
Everybody, it's like everybody. The divide and conquer tactic has really worked very well psychologically to keep people dumb.
Right. And
And
that whole thing of I need it to be black and white, otherwise I can't accept a bit of it. That it has compartmentalized everybody's mind, even within their own selves. So they can't even look within themselves at a piece of an idea simply because they're on the either accept fully or reject fully model.
Yeah, and I see that in myself as well.
Yeah,
Quite a bit.
we all
Like,
we all have it.
Not being wrong, but it's like emotionally, if I see something, like I have something set up and I see as if it's not going that way, I'm like, fuck it, no, like, no.
Yeah.
I'm like, like I'll be okay here one day, and then I'll get really upset, and I'm gonna be like, man, I want to buy a plane ticket, fuck out, like, fuck everything, like, fuck all this stuff. I don't want to help anybody, like, I don't want to do any of this stuff, and then like, another synchronicity or something, like it's like, push a little bit more, and I feel okay again. But just out of like, not letting it breathe, like, letting the idea breathe and have interchangeable parts.
Right.
And not being, I guess.
Is your speaker? Did you do something with your speaker? It's a little bit like muffled or something.
Let me see if I can.
Something changed like 2 or 3 minutes ago.
What about now?
Yeah,
a little bit better.
It's just kind of like tinny or like muffled.
Yeah, man, I hard reset this computer all the time, so I feel like this computer is just kind of approaching its
death. It's okay. Like I can still hear you. It's not terrible, but I just wanted to see if you had done anything or not.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it is a big problem. The ego. It's just the ego thing. That's what makes people dismiss out of hand ideas that they can't fully say, yes, I'm on board with this.
Yeah. Well, I think it was Aristotle, or maybe it was Socrates. So it was like, it's the sign of an intelligent mind to be able to entertain an idea without fully accepting it.
Right.
So like, and that's quite interesting. Is like to be able to dance with ideas and feelings in your head, and before choosing to act on it. And that's like a really good skill to have. And by the way, are we recording or like? Just chilling?
No, yeah, we've been recording the whole time.
Okay, I'm just making sure.
Yeah, I started it before you came on, like a couple minutes.
That's good, man. Because I was thinking while we were doing it, I was like wanting to ask whether we were recording because I liked some of the topics.
Yeah, psychologically. Yeah. I prefer to have people not necessarily know because then they're not, playing for playing for the camera.
Change.
Yeah.
It can change the whole thing.
That my first conversation I had with Steven, he didn't even know the whole entire time, and then at the end I was like, yeah, it's been recording the whole time, and he was like, oh shit, what did I say? I didn't even know.
Yeah, I thought there was multiple people going to be on.
Oh, not all at once. I just meant like.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Right.
I prefer one-on-one because it just gets strange.
Yeah.
Not that we can't ever do it, but.
Yeah, and I think this cosmology thing is like the biggest unanswered, like kind of like fucking loophole type thing. There's so many loopholes, so many things that if we all work together towards, we could compile the information to reach the answer at this point without any like university help or like anything, like just cross-referencing between a group of people that really want to know. Like we can do that at this point. Like it'd be interesting, because I'm trying to form community, like group think tanks on certain topics. Because we have like a lot of people on YouTube and like Facebook. We post about a lot of stuff and nobody ever specializes.
Mm.
But it'd be quite interesting to have like think tanks of specific people that really wanted to
that requires extreme personal strength to be able to actually pull that off. Because I've been personally invited to groups numerous times, and invariably they fall apart. And I haven't
Right.
formed them myself for that very reason, because you have to be really strong. It's just when you get on this with this idea that I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna achieve something, it's gonna go this way, and then it doesn't go that way. Then the leader gets upset, and it's not easy. That's the only thing I can say is it's not easy. It's not that it's impossible, but it's just it's difficult, especially the way the realm is set up. It's set to divide. It's set to divide you against yourself. It's set to keep you apart from other sort of energetic matches that you could actually powerfully create with.
It's quite interesting, like the divide against yourself or like dividing itself, because that's how the golden ratio is achieved. Like in all sacred geometry, it divides itself again and again and again and again and again and again and again, forever.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
division is the key. But I mean, it's used in a negative connotation, but in cellular division, that is how they reproduce.
I don't think division itself is a negative concept. It's necessary to even see anything in the first place. Otherwise, you'd just be like, there would be nothing, because there'd be no distinction between objects.
Yeah. And I've thought about this a lot, because the dichotomy of like whatever, like, and there was a night where I was like outside basically the whole night and looking at the stars so it was like on the equinox actually. We were like seeing meteors coming through, and I was thinking about all this stuff, like, diet and like fasting, and what was the point of like the human like learning all this, like these things, and in my mind it kept like my conclusion was that we are learning all of this eventually to the point to be able to bypass inflicting or experiencing pain, because like pleasure and abundance is our natural state of being. And it's like we've taken this detour where we've experienced this lack and this feeling of, like, oh, it's me against this, or like, like there's a fight going on.
Right.
When like the extra dimensional beings that have like got this shit down packed are not thinking that way at all.
Yeah, we have the division model down really, really well here.
Yeah. Well, it's like, well, you can do telekinesis, or you can live off of air, or you can see into the future, you can and we live in a world where we think, oh, we gotta do this and we gotta do that. When in reality, we can actually like fast forward this to what we want it to be a lot quicker than, I mean, like, it's like life is beside the point at this point. Because we're doing all these things to acquire time to do other shit. So
no, it's always that you should be doing what you're gonna do right now rather than putting it off. It's just that it's difficult to do that. That's also the whole introspective practice, is actually having an idea come up and saying, hey, can I make this happen or not? And then if you can't make it happen, then why didn't it work?
Yeah.
Because it's not easy. That's all I can say, is that trying to make shit happen just because is not easy.
Yeah, just because it's not easy. That's the interesting thing about the universe, is like, it can be really easy, actually. Like, it may not be easy, like, if you're like, okay, like, I want to try, like, this, or like, I'm going to buckle down and do this, but like, if you are vibing on it and your like mind's on it, like, it's gonna happen effortlessly, because the path of least resistance is how energy travels every time.
I agree with you, and that's how I try to stay in that flow state as much as possible, because Worries literally don't even have room to exist when you're in that state. They don't have room to like come in. There's no space for them.
Yeah, and I've been horrible about that. Like, I'll just be honest. But when what is so interesting is like when I feel myself getting upset or like those emotions, and I can feel the alternative option of literally like going to sit down and meditating, like breathing
Yeah.
and changing the emotion inside me. Like, I can feel how potent the change is. Like, I feel it. I feel the emotional and chemical difference in my body of making the choice to say, I don't want to feel that. I don't have time to feel that. I'm going to feel this and visualize this. It's going to bring me closer to that.
Yeah.
So,
But then think about now. Think about what is the difference internally between when, because you probably feel that sort of choice most of the time when you're feeling bad about something, right? What's the
yeah,
difference? What's the difference between you actually moving into the meditative state and getting back to flow, and when you stay in the negative sort of cycle? What is the thing that makes you go one way or the other?
it is the concept of having an immediate distraction or relief or reward. It's the immediate reward. So instead of like going to, which is like hilarious because there's also an immediate reward to going and sitting down and meditating. But I guess
I
like
know, and it always feels better too. Like it doesn't feel worse.
yeah, no, it's insanity. Like
It does
that's
not.
basically
It never feels bad to go meditate and get rid of the heavy emotions. Like it never ever feels bad. But somehow we still persuade ourselves many times not to do that.
it's not even a persuasion for me. It's just a literal like just being a complete fucking like shit. Like, I mean, like, to be perfectly honest, I think it's we're in situations because I just remember like I had like a rough emotional time as a kid. I get addicted to neurochemical responses. So, well, I guess I had this thought like one day because I was always sad and angry like all the time. It's like riding in the car with my mom, and I thought to myself, like maybe I like the way it feels to
Right.
be upset and angry and sad and depressed. Like maybe I like it.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I think it's literally that. It's that the human race likes the pain and the suffering. It's something that they enjoy to experience. Maybe not like fully, but some part of them does, and that's why they do it. And that's why everybody watches like horror movies and like violent video games, TV shows, and like goes around like, like you fill your fucking head with that drama and that violence all the time, and you have a society that's like basically like dramatic and violent and thrives off of those emotional quandaries. Like they're given the highest place in our society, like art and culture, like it's like all the murderer TV shows that people like look at and partake in, like crazy people like killing people in like weird and strange ways that's like intellectually stimulating. Like people like it.
Right. There's also there's also the thing of like delayed gratification with, because every time you're in a really like a deep emotional pit, you're gonna feel good at some point. Even if whether you go into meditation or not, you're gonna come out at some point and it feels really good. So maybe
Yeah.
that's also what we do, is we kind of go the masochism route because we know something better is coming, and maybe if we hold out longer and stay in this pit of despair, the little high we get after is gonna be that much better.
Yeah, it could be that. I also, I've thought about that too. Like just going down because you know that there's an up
Yeah.
and you're plateaued. Because that has happened. Like it's easier to go down and like go back up to where you were before because it's easier because you've already been like up here. So if you've already been there and you go down, like going back up isn't that hard.
Right.
But going up and then pushing more up is a lot harder than being like,
Yeah, just bouncing back and forth on the ceiling of mediocrity, back and
yeah.
forth.
Yeah, exactly. You never want to break through. So,
Yeah.
like, it becomes your box. And
But at the same time, those negative things that we sort of wallow in, they're predictable, and we know how we feel. We know like all the predictors, all the symbols, all the signs that go along with that. So it's like
when you know you're about to do it, and you're like, don't do it.
yeah, it's like a comfort zone because we know it. We know it fully.
Yeah, exactly. It's the fear of the unknown that, like, there is a bigger part of myself that I am more powerful than this. And it's incredible because, I've made split-second decisions that have changed my life entirely. Like, one plane ticket and you have a new life. And
Right.
you don't necessarily need money. And I've proven that to myself time and time again that I actually don't need anything. I can just go somewhere and the pieces are going to fall in place. So I'm not saying that money is a bad thing and that you shouldn't have a job or like whatever because it allows you to do stuff. But it's like, okay, we want this, right? We want this, and it's over here. So we're like, okay, I really want that, and that's gonna expose myself to me. So you know what? I need this first because I just do. So I need that, and then I need that, and then I'm gonna go over here, and eventually I'll get to that. But I have to have these things first.
Right. But you never get those things arranged properly. Like that never happens.
Yeah, I mean, not only that, but you never get those things unless you never get that. When it would be so much simpler just to be like, okay, I got it. Like,
Yeah. You have to take the plunge. You have to close your eyes. You have to jump off. But the thing is, another thing that we do is that we do this world picture thing for ourselves. So if we're entertaining an idea, say you want to jump in an airplane and fly off to Portugal and see what's going on there, right? You want to get in your mind like fully at least the possibility spectrum of what's going to happen there, and you can't do that. Like that literally can't happen. So that's what you're putting it off for because you can't ever get this full picture of like the possibilities. So you're scared of it.
And that's the letting the idea breathe. So we go back to that the divisional, like needing to protect the idea and like your worldview and like shit like that.
Yeah.
Because that's where I've been finding myself, because like I said, I've changed my life and done that. I've been wanting to move, but I look at all these places. I'm looking at plane flights, and it's like, oh, that's a great price. I'm trying to like plan every like little aspect, like like I need to be here because of this and that, and like blah 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 blah, and it keeps on going and going and going until where there's nowhere in the fucking world I could go that meet all of my criteria for a perfect life that I need to.
Dude, you're like the guy on Tinder who doesn't ever get any dates because he wants like this 10 out of 10 like every single time.
Yeah.
It's like just go out and see what happens. Like it might suck completely. Like you might break your arm or something. Who knows? But it's better to try it. I think it's better to try shit because otherwise, we like routines. We will stay in routines forever. That's what the human likes. The human mind likes predictability, and it likes feeling comfy.
Yeah, because the human brain can actually only conceptualize things it's already experienced.
Right. That's why I used to describe kind of our linear progression through life as like you're driving backwards in your car. Like you're not even going forwards.
All right.
You're driving backwards, and what you're looking at is only what you've been through already. Like you don't even look at all at like the possibilities whatsoever.
Yeah, it's so true, and it's so sad that like isn't that like kind of depressing, you're always driving backwards until you're dead and you never got to see what was actually there, only what you thought was there.
And all you had to do is like turn your head around, like look around. What are you drinking? Is that like organic beer? Oh my god, it's a giant jar of kombucha?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is there really kombucha in there, or are you just using it as a jar?
I don't have kombucha, and I'm just like fucking doming kombucha. It's so good. It's the pomegranate flavor.
Yeah.
So dang.
I was on a kombucha kick for a little while.
Yeah.
But the main problem in my mind that stops us from doing things is that like we're isolated individuals outside of the societal spectrum, and you can't just do something by yourself. You still have to be working with other people.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Like, like specialized groups, think tanks, and shit. It's like it's so fucking crazy because nobody can work together except for the bad guys. Like, yeah, there's like, why the bad guys won't win because they can never work together. It's like, what the fuck? Like, they're doing great. Like,
Right, they're doing really well.
fucking ass right now. Like, holy shit.
Yeah, they're doing pretty well.
On anything and get really offended. The triggered generation, I mean, what a perfect way to take it over. I mean, like, holy fuck. Just nobody can talk to anybody. I mean, and it's amazing because I was just thinking about this the other day. Like, he said society. Well, if our society operated in a way where everybody knew each other and everybody knew what was going on, like we actually knew each other, nobody could ever get kidnapped. There would be never a missing kid again.
Right.
It could not happen.
Well, and also because then all of the people in the realm would be a family rather than just like split off. Like it has just been everybody has been split to the maximum degree. That's what my eyes tell me, is that everything is split. And even in your own neighborhood, there isn't a need to know your neighbor. We don't know our neighbors anymore. Like there's no more organic community. It just doesn't exist. So then to try to get with people,
a plot and a fucking number.
Yeah,
that's so crazy, man. I mean, like, I was just thinking about like writing a book or like something, like trying to like paint a world where there was like transhumans and like the advertisements are to like become human again. Like advertisement is like become human. Like instead of like become a robot, it's like 100 years later where all the half robots are like, fuck, we really like the human is the hot and sexy thing instead of the fucking robot.
Yeah. That would be good.
Yeah, it's like the flip side of it. I just think it's always interesting to flip things around.
Yeah, like humans are the new in thing, guys. You get a buy one get one free. It expires in a week.
Yeah.
Become human again.
Become human. Yeah, exactly. Like it's just like like as average as retirement plan, or like.
Yeah, right. Not glamorizing it.
Yeah. It like an ad in a newspaper or some shit. Like it's the anti-balding cream.
Right.
Some shit like that.
Well, think about it. Like, how many commercials do you see that have any creativity? I'm not saying there are none, but if you just listen to the radio, the TV, how many have actual creativity in them?
Okay, so now that you mention it, I've also noticed with the video games, because I've been alive long enough to see like the original video games, like Legend of Zelda for Nintendo 64, like and shit like that, like where shit was original, creative, and like things were like cool and fucking engaging. But now, like in video games, it's literally like they just know like the world's gonna collapse, so they just like pumped out a whole bunch of copies of video games, and the quality actually got worse every copy. And I'm just like, what the fuck? Like people are actually paying for this shit when 20 years ago it was like 10 times as more like soul in it. Like,
yeah.
Just.
Yeah, it's like the realm itself has stopped caring about even trying anymore. It's just like, whatever. Like it doesn't even matter. Who cares?
Yeah. I mean, like, and I believe that everything, gets kind of like copied and rehashed, but that's the beauty of it, is because as you introduce new ideas, they mingle into the old ideas, and then like they get a new expression. Like everything keeps getting cycled again and again and again, and every time, it's different.
You just have to do it yourself. If you want something to actually happen, you have to do it yourself, and you have to just be really strong when you feel like shit, because you're gonna feel like shit because people are gonna reject it, and people aren't gonna see what you're trying to do or trying to say.
Yeah,
you just have to do it. You have to do it because all of the mundane is going to continue. We're going to continue down further down this path of just no consciousness whatsoever, no creativity,
No,
repetition.
the rift is going to get even more intense, and I think that's what was always meant to happen. Really, I mean, like, I honestly think that that I mean, there's an elite society. I mean, you choose to be a part of it or not, but there. I mean, and not. I'm not saying that you have to be a part of the elite society. All I'm saying is like people are either going to choose to change their environment and their habits, or basically, like, or become self-responsible, or they're just going to be led by the people that want to decide for them, and that's what's happening. I mean, they may think that it's the illusion of choice. Like they're like, oh, I got all these choices, but in reality, because they don't know or want anything else, or are too scared to go for it, they are going to be fucking Bitcoin human body heat miner. I mean, like, basically, like, fuck, like, have you seen that shit? The body heat vest that they use to mine Bitcoins? Like, humans are actually Bitcoin miners now.
Really?
Yeah.
Like the body itself is the power plant?
It's the heat generator for the thermoelectric Bitcoin mining apparatus.
So you just put a vest on and all of a sudden you're a Bitcoin miner?
Yeah, basically.
I mean, how much does it pay?
I don't know. Your fucking genome.
Oh man.
Well, I mean, the truth is, like, we have so much technology and advanced technology that when you decide to specialize, like, whatever you choose to now do, you are going to be able to do it without a doubt. And the information is there and the materials are there now. So it's just the fight to stay awake in a world of mass stimulation and instant gratification that wants you. And not only that, your body may not want it, but you're having these urges, these neurological urges to satiate these lower bodily desires that your body doesn't even want to satiate, but it can't say no because it's like, ugh.
Yeah, I know.
Fucked. And
yeah,
that's the strength is going to be self-discipline. And it's like after you can discipline yourself, you'll be able to achieve anything that you want. And not only that, like, what's incredible is that the rate of mediocrity is so high that after you pass that bar, you're instantly going to start getting propelled forward. Not only by the universe is probably like sitting there, like looking at all this shit, like, I'm waiting for somebody to do something.
Right.
Well, I mean, like, just anything.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, like, just,
dude, that's I feel exactly the same way. I feel like
like,
we're just stagnating.
For the chosen one, anytime now. Like,
yeah.
Anytime.
I mean, the universe is pretty patient, though. It lets us, continue on and stagnate forever and ever if we don't actually do something.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think that that's because I think that, like, anybody has the potential to be the one, so the universe doesn't necessarily give a fuck, because there will always be someone that is having the epiphany, the never-ending epiphany / energetic mental orgasm of just like I can do anything, I can be anything, the universe is anything, like, it's listening to me, I'm interacting, that state of awe and enjoyment and bliss, and it's excitement, and it's sexual, and it's powerful, and it can be everything. It is life in its purest form, and then what isn't life is how our minds have been trained. I'm not going to say that the mind is the prison, because everybody loves to, like, go into the matrix belief system, be like, oh, this realm is a prison. It's a prison realm. It fucking sucks here. Marijuana sucks. Sex is bullshit.
Get your Alex Jones on.
Or like whatever, like just people love to be like, yeah, we're in a matrix, sucks. And it's like not really, bro, because you can do anything you fucking want.
When people say that, they're giving an excuse for not doing anything.
Yeah, for not doing anything.
That's all that they're doing. Because if you think about it, if you really think about it and look into yourself, nobody's ever stopping you from doing anything. Ever. Except for yourself and fear.
And then it's the story we create. So I believe that the universe kind of likes to play along with our story. Like after we make up a story and we like want to live it, the universe is like, okay, like let's make that your story.
Right.
And it randomly happens like that. Like it starts becoming your story.
Right.
So you want to be else. But the universe is always like, yeah, I'm game. Like I'll let you do it.
Yeah, right. It's only us that put up the blocks. And you're always free in your current moment. Like if you want to do something, you're able to do it right this second. Like there's nothing ever stopping you.
Yeah.
Never. It's just never there.
Sad. I mean, it's awesome, but it's so sad that like not only will people be told that, and we know that, but we will continue to live by that old paradigm. Until we break free.
No, I feel like it's very slowly. The energy is coming around. It's just super slow. It's like a glacier. That's what I feel like.
Yeah, I feel like when I'm like into my elder years, I'm gonna be seeing like the full blown like fucking crazy like spirits and souls coming in here with like the coolest shit like you could ever imagine. Like. Just like, damn, bro, we were working through the shit, like, and now they just got it, like, they're fucking. But like, I think like we're gonna get to the point where people are gonna be ageless. Like, I already meet ageless people.
Yeah.
Like, like this dude that's 30. I think he's like 30 something. Actually, I think he's my age. I'm like, what the fuck, like, man? And he's like, yeah, I'm ageless. I'm like, dude, like, what the fuck? And that's like all energy. It's literally all energy, and I think it's so interesting because energy is like energy.
Inner chi?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you just randomly stumbled across a dude that said he was ageless?
No, I knew him and I met him in Michigan at the Temple of Sakara conference. And yeah.
I think you belief yourself into aging and dying. You literally belief it into existence.
Yeah, I literally think that too because the body renews all of its cells every 6 months.
Yeah.
So if we chose to, we could literally renew every fucking thing in our body.
Right.
And we make it seem so hard, but like with Reiki. I mean, after you start feeling the energy pumping through your hands with Reiki, and you don't need to be attuned, or you can attune yourself or like whatever. You just need to start placing your palms above shit and like imagine that the energy is going through your hand, and it like literally starts to happen.
Yeah, right.
And
it's really simple. You put your hand over something and you feel energetic. It's back and forth. Just like I can put my hand over my soda can and I feel my hand interacting with it.
Yeah. And those are the first steps to telekinesis, man. Like because or it just goes and like attaches.
Right.
And I've done that before. So like meditation every day and like channeling that energy through your body, and just being good to yourself and your body and your mind. It's amazing, it's literally like life or death. Like, what are you going to choose? Are you going to be strong enough to persevere through all of these problems and experience what could be what these aliens and these extraterrestrials are that are coming through these dimensions are actually like people like you and me from different times and spaces that learned to do this and overcame matter.
Yeah.
Because the whole thing is we believe that, we are restricted by these laws and these physical things. time and time again, science is proving, not only is science proving, but I mean, like, we prove to ourselves, and God proves to us that anything is possible entirely just
Right.
through our feelings.
Right.
Just through our feelings. We don't even have to have a thought. We just by the way we feel.
The feelings are more true than the thoughts. The thoughts have the possibility of a lie, even though it's not really a lie. It's just a different. But the feeling themselves, you can't fake a feeling. You can like say, "Oh, I'm not feeling that way," but you're not actually not feeling that way. You just simply are feeling that way. If you're feeling bad, you're feeling bad because it's chemicals. It's a literal physical thing. Like your thoughts are more etheric and they're more like hard to place and pin, but your feelings are that's true honesty. You can't fake that. Like you can't not feel a feeling. It just has to happen. So if you use your feelings as kind of the guides for how you navigate your day rather than your thought structure, which is continually flip-flopping and saying, oh, this is great, oh, that sucks, oh, this is great, oh, that person is great, oh, I hate that person, you know, like it's constantly doing this flip-flop thing. You're not ever gonna move whatsoever if you try to use that as your like, you know, your gauge bar. But if you follow the feelings, that it's pure honesty.
Yeah, I agree. And that's such an interesting thing with people. It's like, you know, you can have conversations with people, but the feelings are so much more telling. Like, words can just pour out of people's mouths all day, but I mean, it's just the difference. You know, somebody can say the exact same thing as somebody else with more feeling or in a different way, and it will impact you entirely different.
Yeah. I've come to the understanding that the words themselves are almost irrelevant. Not
exactly. Yeah, you can say anything.
Yeah.
The way that you say it, and it's so funny because it's funny that we're talking about this because I talk with a lot of people about like girls and how they are. It's like the feelings inside you matter so much more than what you're saying, and even like with like pickup lines or like whatever, just approach it like, and it doesn't even have to be a girl. Anybody in the street that you're approaching for the first time, like trying to say anything to.
Yeah.
So much more about what you're feeling inside and kind of like how you express that emotion through yourself than like the logistics of the words that you say.
Yeah. And as guys, we've been programmed into thinking that feelings are girly, you know, like, oh, that's not masculine. Don't show your feelings. Don't cry. Real men don't cry. Like all of this shit that's taking the truer form of yourself, which is the feeling, and telling you that it's not a man to let that express itself through you. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, not only that, but I mean, you're taking away the human's like superpower, their feelings.
Right.
How they do everything.
You'd be Spock. Yeah. You know, you'd be an emotionless drone, and like what? That's what you would literally become.
Yeah, and so like emotion is energy and motion. And I mean, that's just it, man. It's like, I don't know what the fuck's happening. I think we're under invasion by like some fucking alien. I'm not even kidding. Like, I really do think like that's basically it. Like, the higher elites are in league with some beings that harvest emotional.
Yeah.
And, you know, they harvest the energy that comes from us because they cannot produce it because they're not empathic.
Right.
And I think I've said this before on your show. This like empathy is being an electromagnetic path, and blah blah blah. All goes back to electricity.
This concept has been around forever of us being harvested for emotions, but I mean, it's good to be aware of that, but it's also difficult at the same time because if you're having an interdimensional that's feeding off of your energy and you can't see it, it's not the easiest thing in the world to try and understand in the first place and then actually do something about in the second place.
You know, and I've thought about all this as well. Well, I mean, that's the whole thought thing. It's like you just don't give them all that. You know, that's the choice. It's like it. So even though that they're feeding off of you, like it doesn't matter because you're the one producing the emotion. So when you go into that moment where you're like, okay, I'm either going to go and meditate and fix my mind and get my mind right and move on with my day, or I'm going to like let this shit eat at me. So like that's the difference.
Yeah.
And that could be a huge reason why, like, we go back to like, why do people do things they like it, or we think we like it, or you think that you like it, but it could literally be like a being like literally like tapping your fucking, you know, electrical impulses in your brain, convincing you that you like it.
Right.
An electromagnetic being like ping, 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 ping. You're like a bodily button board because, you know, you don't give a fuck about yourself. You have no self-control. So they're just like putting in the fucking codes to your meat suit, and you're just sitting back like, I don't care. Like, you know? Like,
Right.
I mean, I think that's basically what goes down, essentially.
From what I understand,
doing things to satisfy a parasitical consciousness.
From what I understand, the archontic thing that wants to eat your bad emotions cannot see you as a human being. They see just the energetic field, and they have techniques to extract the energy, and we interpret it as like, oh, I feel like shit, or oh, my girlfriend yelled at me, when really it's something else. Like, it's a different way of seeing on their end and on our end.
Yeah. But that's kind of what I meant, is like, you know, people like are fighting or they're arguing, but it's really just the beings being like, okay, we want some. Like,
it's like, I'm hungry. Feed me. I'm hungry.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that it doesn't matter. I think that their energy is harvested no matter what spectrum of emotion or anything. Like, there's always somebody or something. It's going somewhere.
Yeah, right.
It's not like, and it's being recycled some way at some point. Like, if we look at Earth, like, nothing is being unused. Like, it doesn't even matter. Like, pollution is slowly being broken down and transformed. Like, you know, it's always being transformed. So
yeah, I mean, you could see it.
It just is what it is.
You could see it as like bugs going on a bird and eating the gnats off of the bird. It's like, oh, it kind of hurts because it's pecking my neck, but otherwise I would be full of fleas or whatever. You know, like it's still
maybe like you know, people say archons, like, and archons is a bad thing, like the archons, but archetypes are what create the world. Like, it's an archetypical world.
Yeah.
So I don't think archetypes are necessarily bad. And I think that there's room for new archetypes. And I even think like that humans in general have the capacity to move out of their body or evolve like spiritually to the point of like an entity that could be considered an archon or an archetypical pattern fractal maker. Practical. That's a practical. Yeah, but you know what I mean? It's like, so after a consciousness like develops like something about itself that is a repeating pattern or a repeating sound or song or some shit, it will like go into the matter and be like, it create itself again, like an archetype of itself.
Yeah.
But the archetype can be extrapolated and like fused with other archetypes and other ideas to create something new. And I think that's like the whole point. That's the whole point. You know, we're just supposed to take what we're given and make it our own.
And do something new as well, not just do the same shit. That's to me what we're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be doing something new. If we're just supposed to literally be a robot, then we would not have emotions and we wouldn't be human.
Yeah, and not only that, like, but we wouldn't be equipped. Yeah, exactly. Like, we just would not function in the way that we do. Like, we specifically function as if to operate with no temporal information. Like, we actually are functioning off of non-local information.
Right.
Like, sure, like, you're looking at people's eyes and you're seeing body language and stuff, but that's different from empathy. Like, yeah, you can kind of tell how somebody feels on the outside, but not everybody's honest with their body language or their stuff. So, like, you can literally feel inside of yourself how somebody really feels, but they're not showing it.
Right.
You know,
right.
They never tell you that you felt that way, and then you're like, hey, are you feeling like blah blah? And they're like, oh, God, Yeah.
And then but then they're happy because like you gave them a reason to stop lying to themselves, and they're like, fuck it, I guess I'll spill the beans anyway.
Yeah. Wait, and that's what I mean. Like we are equipped to fucking wing it and be great at it. Like to literally have no knowledge and do something that takes millions of years of knowledge to know. Like that's our gift. Is that
Right.
we're
That's the thing right there is it's the opposite of what we learn, right? We learn, okay, you need to learn. You need to do this, and this. And all of it is a distraction from the simple fact that you don't need any of it. You just go and act and do and find out as it happens.
Yeah, and that is true if you have the mindset to be able to do that. But the way that they have divided the psyche does not allow people to explore their reality in that way.
That's what we're here for.
Yeah, I guess so.
We're here to tell people that it's okay. You can explore your playground. You don't have to go in the same circle every single day. You can take a detour and see what the smaller slide is doing, or see what the woods are doing. Like, it's all right. It's okay.
Yeah, I mean, like, and that's the thing about driving the car backwards. It's like we're driving the car backwards like every fucking day, and yeah, never seeing the possibility when the possibility could literally be like the impact on your life could be so huge, really profound. Like it could change your whole life. Just speaking to one person can change your whole life because you have no idea what the fuck could happen. So like that one person that you see, walking by you, and like you're both doing the normal like look down, look away, anywhere but that person coming next to you on the sidewalk or wherever.
Right.
You could say something like hi and smile, and then that shit like snowballs. It literally snowballs until like all the energy is so fucking concentrated, like something has to happen. Like, and nothing can't happen. It's just really wild. I mean, I've done it before, like just walking down the street, start smiling at people, like smile at like ladies being like hi, like blah blah, all this, just like talking to people, being really nice to people, just like overtly fucking really nice and awesome.
It's always there. The opportunity is always there. We are scared of it. We are scared to actually like go into the reality as if we are the ones who are here living. Like we always want to have some sort of permission or some sort of plan, some sort of goal.
Are you sure it's okay? Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, right, like is it all right for me to like jump around, jump up and down and like scream and yell, like just all this stuff? You feel you must be confined, but you don't have to do that. You're free. Like you're always free to do it.
It's the Walking Dead. So like actually I think the majority of people are literally scientifically dead because their body is not at a high enough frequency to register as living, like a living system.
Really?
Yeah, like vibrationally, like the majority of people are fucking dead.
That's exciting. I mean, that's what my video about NPCs. We were talking about NPCs.
yeah. NPCs. It's so fucking crazy. And what's also weird is that the RPG, if you think of us like as souls coming into a realm, like like you're rooting down in matter and you're like pushing through it. You're like, like that's what it's like coming through your body. You're like working out or like building up your body. You're pushing through it.
Yeah.
You're forming it, and it's painful.
Like, it is. It's not easy, dude. It's not easy. And then when you're outside, well, like when you're not talking to somebody else who understands, then you're just in your mind, and your mind always wants to fuck you over. So it's
and it's really bad, I feel like, for people that think this way. I mean, especially for me, to make up the bullshit story that, since I know all this, like, I can't fit in, I can't have normal everyday reactions, like, I can't
right.
enjoy myself.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, oh yeah, like, I know this, like, I don't...
No, you always gotta feel special. You gotta feel special and knowledgeable.
Yeah, well, it's like the excuse to actually be depressed. It's like, you were already depressed before, that's why you started researching this, and now, like, that you've got all the answers. I mean, you either choose to, because I feel like the only way that people get this knowledge is through suffering. You know, a lot of things like we suffer and we get the thing.
Yeah.
But that's like a beautiful part, is because that's what I was like talking about earlier. It's like, what is the end game? Like, are we just supposed to suffer and feel pleasure and suffer and feel pleasure and endlessly oscillate back and forth like forever? But then when these extra dimensional entities come through and start communicating with me, like with their spaceships and shit, and I'm seeing it in real life, that proves to me that there is something more, especially when I'm having these thoughts and then they do it.
Yeah.
Or the universe does it, or like, something non-local happens. Because we're so convinced that it's local. But it's not, it's non-local. Entirely. It's going to start non-local either way. Because it's always going to start as a feeling inside of us that doesn't, maybe it's symbiotically manifesting with matter, but matter is not the originator of the feeling.
Just think about the conversation you're having now. Like, it's all has to be non-local because none of the things we're talking about really are even in our immediate environment. So therefore, it must be non-local. It's all etherical. It's thought forms. It's past experience. All that stuff compiled together and coming out in the present moment. It's all non-local always, unless you want to talk about it. Like, I can say, oh, here's my car, and this is my steering wheel, and this is how it's creating things, and this is how it's holding me warm, and all that stuff. But you don't have to do. We're our main mode of communication is non-local.
Yeah, and just remembering that it can take a weight off your shoulders, because you're like, oh, I need to know this, I need to know this, I need to know that. It's like, actually, you just need to have your feeling and then like trust your feeling and do it.
Yeah.
And everything will be all right. Because it's like the feeling like leads it up. Like, it's like you get upset, you start walking around, like fuck this, fuck that, and then you stub your toe. Like, so that action was lined up way back here.
Yeah.
Because we're just like on a roller coaster, so we're non-local. So like the path or the current of energy is like we're just riding it.
Yeah.
And with our feelings, our emotions, our thoughts, we're choosing it.
Right.
So we need to stop taking responsibility for those things. We self-sabotage and fall off a bridge or some bullshit.
I fell off that bridge on accident. I was not trying to kill myself. I promise you.
Yeah. What was crazy, man? I was in Ireland and I was walking down the street. And I was depressed. I'm a person that has been depressed and struggles with depression. I feel like most people do. And I mean, like, not all the time, but sometimes, yeah. But anyway, I was walking around Ireland and I was like, man, what would it be like if I just died? I looked at this dude right in the eyes, and he had a seizure in front of me as I had that thought.
Yeah?
Yeah, like he hit the fucking ground, and like somebody ran up with a phone, like started calling 911, and like, hey man, are you okay? Are you okay? And I just like walked away, like, what the fuck? What is that? Like, because the universe was like, this is what it would be like if you were to just die. Like, that's what would happen, bro. Like,
right.
I almost felt like slightly responsible, like I didn't know like whether maybe I killed him with my thoughts or something. I don't even know whether he died, but
yeah,
just like that's just my point about like the thoughts like lining you up with the experience. Like the alignment is happening when the thought is happening from like a time way before that we can even really conceive, because things are happening in cycles. We're planting seeds of emotions, which is energy and motion, that is literally magnetically aligning events, people, things into our life that we're coming into physical contact with through the etheric field. And it's happening like a system, like a subway system, or a computer board or a mothership or like whatever. Or like pipes in a wall transporting water. Like just based on our thoughts and our feelings, that's how instant the law of attraction works. Is like we get on a new set of tracks that our awareness is riding on.
Yeah.
from that moment immediately.
It's always immediate. I know people like to propose that everything started billions of years ago and it's following some deterministic path, but I think if you're staying present, then you can move which way you want in the moment, always. Otherwise, if you're sitting there talking about like, oh well, all this energy was set in motion 100,000 billion years ago, and this is why I am who I am, then you're just giving up all responsibility of being able to do anything in the present. You know?
You know, what's so interesting is because I feel like a lot of people, yeah, we make up excuses not to do what we want or like to take away our power. It's so weird. Like, what kind of being just wants to take away its own power again and again?
We're masochistic. That's why we like to torture ourselves.
Yeah, it's really strange. Or we like to go through hard things. I'm not saying like, or put ourselves. Yeah, I used to be a teenager, and I mean I'm 21 now, so pretty young. But my mom would be like, "Why are you always putting yourself through the gauntlet? Like you're always choosing the hardest path."
Right.
It's like, well, because it was hard is what made it great. And that's true, you know. It's like, if you want to, I'm not saying that you make everything hard or that everything has to be hard. Or like whatever, you know. I mean, maybe none of it has to be hard. I mean,
you can't escape the suffering. I already know that's impossible. All you can do is try to behave responsibly when it comes, rather than just I'm just going to be depressed and my life sucks. Rather than go to these
throw away everything that you cultivated up till that point.
Right.
Because like no matter what, there's going to be that moment of doubt or upheaval where you're going to want to say fuck it and ruin everything that you worked for so long. It's from square one again.
Right.
At least that's how I operate. So
that's how a lot of us operate. It's life is not always some easy thing. Like it can be simple and you can be feeling energetically correct and balanced and everything, but then like 2 seconds later something that you can't even see can come smack you upside the head and you're like, oh fuck, like I don't know why I feel bad now and I have no clue and it just sucks. It's not just so simple. It requires lots of practice and daily. You have to be with it daily, because if you let something slip, you automatically fall back into old routines. Automatically.
Consistency.
Yeah.
Consistent in your habits daily.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'll tell you, man. Like it's all about fucking attitude, because none of it has to be like the suffering is like objective. Because we really only suffer when we feel that we are separate from something.
But that's the ironic part right there, because when you're sitting here having ideals and goals, you're already separating out. You're projecting into the future. So it's like an ironic kind of like backwards thing that has to happen in order to create. And it's weird. Like you have to get past the weirdness of it.
Well, it's the way that we take it. So it's the energy of division, our transformation, and we choose to say, I'm going to suffer with that. When in reality, like pain, if we wanted to even go on a physical level, can be turned off just with your mind.
Yeah.
So it's a really perspective. So, like, you lose your girlfriend that you've been dating 4 years with, and you're like, fuck, like, what the fuck is wrong with me, or like, whatever, blah, 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 all that shit, like, you're gonna give yourself a hard time. When little did you realize, like, you couldn't express yourself this one way, and you're about to meet, like, another girl that's about to blow your fucking mind, like,
yeah, right.
That shit, just prepared you for this moment.
Right.
We have a tendency to view entropy as something to be upset and suffer and emotionally suffer with, because it's not true. It's not true. And entropy, definition of entropy, just means change. Like, it's not like everybody thinks like entropy, like vampiristic like suctioning energy. Like it's not a good thing. It's entropy.
Like a stagnation, like a dying.
Yeah, it's like death. But death is just change. I mean, like, and we can choose. Like, you know, in the Bible, there's people that were sitting there and then chose to die. Like they would choose when they would die. Like they would just sit there and meditate and leave their fucking body and be like, I'm out.
Yeah.
Like and then mummify on the spot.
I've heard of it. Yeah.
And so it's like, and you know, I've left my body. Like I have astral projected. I haven't fully left. Parts of me have left, and I've been floating outside of it, and I haven't left the side of it yet. But I mean, that just proves to me, like, you know, like if I got that skill down packed, and I just like wanted to leave, I could fucking do it, like at any time that I want. So I should be able to do the opposite as well.
And yeah, leave and come back.
Leave and come back, or not leave at all and sustain my body. You know, like,
yeah.
or leave and never come back.
Daily practice. You got to do daily self-work, otherwise you go back into old habits.
Yeah, that's true.
I wouldn't even say daily. I would say like moment to moment. Your mind is always...
It's virtually 100% all the fucking time.
It's always trying to pull you back. Even right now, like, we're probably going to end this soon because it's going really long, but I can tell you your mind is already doing the, oh, what am I going to do when we're done? What, this and this and this. Am I going to actually do something I'm saying I'm going to do, or am I not going to do something? You know, like, it's already doing that. Like, I promise you, your own brain is doing that. I know mine's doing that. So it's like a minute to second practice of focusing your intent and presence. Otherwise, you fly off into the pre-programmed routine bullshit that you do every single day, no matter what.
Yeah, and yep. Sure. So sure.
I'm only saying that so you can carry that awareness when we leave and perhaps actually do something different.
Oh, and I entirely agree with you. Like, entirely. No, I know it's true because I'm thinking about this stuff that I want to do, and I'm like, man, you said that you weren't gonna do that. So
I'm gonna ask you after. I'm gonna ask you tomorrow, Christian. What did you do after the video chat? And you're gonna tell me, okay?
Alright.
I'm giving you outside accountability. You got to do something. You don't have to do like, don't save the world, but just do something.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll let you know what happens. You know, yeah, I know we're in it, but I feel that, you know, community right now and where we live, that having these communities and like people of like minds getting together is so fucking important because, like, and then also establishing alternative modes of communication and people being proficient and blah blah. Like, I just mean people like shit's getting crazy. For me, I just see like the world continuously getting crazier and crazier. Like, I've chilled out emotionally about it a bit, but there was a time where I was not, and I spent a lot of time preparing stuff. All I mean to say is like that we have the opportunity to do like a lot of cool shit right now, but we also are under pressure. So community and sharing information like this is the only way we are going to do anything.
Yeah. We have to keep the connection going. Like, even if you notice, I gotta go, but if you notice, even in our little group, like you, me, Og, and Steven, and then a couple girls, right? Even that we could be doing something with that, and we're letting that stagnate. Like, we don't even communicate daily like we used to. The entropy thing will do itself if you don't stay vigilant every second.
The only thing guaranteed is entropy.
Yeah.
There's nothing guaranteed except for that change, that death. Which is great. I mean, that should like actually make everybody be like, yeah, it's pretty cool. Like, it's guaranteed to change.
The only that's what they say. The only constant is change itself. But at the same time, we do have the ability to do things. Like, me doing my channel is my example of trying to output energy and help people see things in different ways. So I hope that when people watch us, then they get motivated to actually do something different, because that's all I want. I want to see a world that's not doing the same fucking thing every day, and I want to have people actually care about each other. It's very simple. Like, I'm not asking for money or this or that. I just want different things to be happening than the same old nonsense every day.
Yeah,
That's it.
me too.
Good talking with you, buddy.
Yeah, it was.
It's been like
We'll
a month.
catch up, for sure. It's been a while since we've all talked.
Let me know. Try and carry your awareness throughout after you leave, and just do something different. And let me know how it goes tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah?
All right, man.
All right, Chris.
Yeah.
Take care, buddy.
Yeah, good night.
Bye.
Later.
Quick time.